there, my name's Cassandra, and I live here in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories. Welcome to my channel if you're new here. Consider subscribing if you are, if you enjoyed this video. Definitely ring that bell to all so that you can see the different kinds of videos I do and choose what you would like to watch. So today, I'm going to be sharing with you 5 differences between living in Yellowknife, Northwest Territories and living in Iqaluit, Nunavut. And the reason I've chosen to share this is because I do think that people get the two confused quite a bit, and there are quite a few differences that I think that you guys would be interested to know about. So if you do like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up for me. All right, so let's get into it. Number 1 is that you can travel from Yellowknife by car to other provinces or territories. So for example, if I want to drive to Edmonton, I can do so. Whereas in Iqaluit or Nunavut, the only way to get in and out of the territory is by sea or by air. So it makes it a little more difficult, and to me, that's a little more isolated. I know people say it's funny. Here it's obviously isolated because the communities around are small, and like I said, the closest place, really like the closest big city, is Edmonton, and that is still like a 16-hour drive, I think, 15-hour drive. Don't quote me on that, but it's still like a day's drive. So obviously it is a bit more isolated than maybe somewhere else that you are used to living, but to me it's comfortable to be able to drive by car in and out of the city. So the next big difference, number 2, is the population difference. So here in Yellowknife, now we do have most of the population of the Northwest Territories here in Yellowknife. Our population is approximately 40,000, whereas in Nunavut, in Iqaluit, it's approximately 7,000. Iqaluit is the biggest city in Nunavut, so I'm just comparing the two cities. Yeah, so there's quite a big difference. It's quite a smaller city. Yellowknife is more of a city that I'm used to like being around or living in. So it's like a smaller city from the province of Ontario where I'm from. And it's quite normal, whereas we did a lot of research before we came here. We were considering moving to Nunavut, and I actually followed this girl's channel. Her name is Olivia Young, and I will link her channel down below. She lives in Iqaluit, Northwest Territories, and we gained a lot of our information from watching her channel. So she does things like she takes you to the grocery store and compares food prices, which is actually number 3, the food cost difference. A lot of people think living here, the food costs are crazy. And it's just not the case. I remember before I came here, I had someone tell me, oh, like you know, bread is gonna be insanely expensive. You don't even know what you're getting yourself into. And I was like, no, I think I do, but anyway, and I did. It's not the same. There, a bag of milk is like $20, and a bag of grapes is like $20. It's wild, the difference. Definitely I recommend going to check out her channel if you haven't already, because it's enlightening. Whereas here, I have some food videos as well. I'll link those down below as well for you. I show you my different grocery hauls, and it is a little more expensive compared to where I'm from, but I know a lot of people comment on those videos saying, no, it's comparable to where they are in Canada. So it's really the difference is that we don't have any discount food stores, whereas a lot of places in Canada do. So we don't have things like Food Basics and No Frills and whatever. We just have Independent and Co-op as our 2 main grocery stores. So that's really why the food costs are like maybe a little more. Whereas in Iqaluit, they have something called North Mart and I believe 1 more grocery store, and the prices are significantly different there. So number 4 is the way the mail system works. So there, you have to primarily go pick up your packages. A lot of people have a P.O. box instead of an actual mailing address, like a physical address. They're changing that a lot now. Before it was a lot worse years ago. I think a lot of places do have mailing addresses now, but I know there is still a problem with mail service there. So a lot of people get things flown in there, like basic necessities, just because things are so expensive there, or they're not there and they have to get them, you know, mailed in. Whereas that's not the case here. You have everything you need here. It's just that if you want more variety or, you know, a special thing that you're used to or whatever, you will have to get that sent. And it's very seldom that I find you can't ship something here, because that does happen occasionally. Yeah, again, Olivia Young, totally recommend her channel. She does a video on how she actually picks up her mail, and she takes you to like where the post office is and stuff. It's really neat. So definitely go check it out. It's way more exotic there. Yellowknife is just a boring old normal city. No, I'm kidding. I know it's quite exotic to a lot of people as well, but definitely not as exotic as Nunavut. So the 5th difference that I'm going to talk to you about today is what's called a Northern Living Allowance. You actually get money from the government for living in a place like Yellowknife or like Iqaluit, about living north. Obviously, it's called the Northern Living Allowance. Here in Yellowknife, the Northern Living Allowance is about $3,700 a year, whereas in Iqaluit, it's $15,000 minimum. So I'm assuming that it was like $15,000 to $30,000, depending where you were in the province of Nunavut. I'm assuming Iqaluit is going to be on the lowest spectrum, so around $15,000, probably a little more. But yeah, so quite a significant difference in the Northern Living Allowance, and that's because Nunavut has the highest cost of living in Canada. And so I know a lot of people compare that to Yellowknife. We do have expensive housing costs, rental costs, but yeah, other than that, things are pretty normal. I do these Yellowknife by month videos if you're interested, where I go over things like gas prices sometimes and, you know, food, like I said, food prices, any kind of like things that you may be wanting to compare. And so definitely leave me a comment below if there's something specific you're curious about. I even go through our entire budget in some videos as well. I show you what the internet costs, what our cell phone bill is, etc., etc. And so, you know, if you're interested in that stuff, I'll try to link as much below as I can, or just ask me in the comments below and I'd be happy to point you in the direction of what video you could watch to answer your question. So that's my 5 things about Yellowknife, the difference between Yellowknife Northwest Territories and Iqaluit Nunavut. Please let me know in the comments below what you thought of this video, and again, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. I'll see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much for watching.